Crofting has been part of life in Scotland for centuries, but on Fair Isle it comes with its own challenges. This tiny island, home to around 50 people, lies between Orkney and Shetland and is the UK's most remote inhabited island. Today, the sheep from crofts across the island will be sent off to market, all leaving on the same boat. I'm joining Stephen, a Fair Isle crofter, to follow the process of sending the sheep off the island.
There's a lamb here that's going to market and he's still not got a tag on him. I never got him the last day. He decided to jump over the fence and away he went. Jump over here. This is my apprentice shepherdess, Storm, all the way from the Netherlands. There we go. That's him tagged, ready to go. Wherever he travels to, he'll be known as he goes. It's traceability within the industry.
Oh, right.
Every single animal has traceability. The ones with two tags, as you can see, these are yows, these are the mothers. The lambs that are going to market just get the single tag on the left here. Just you swipe a button on it and they can electronically tell who it is. These are my final 7 lambs going out to market.
And how old are the lambs now at this
They
point?
were born in April, back end of April.
So about 6 months old?
Yes, yeah. There's some good chunky lambs.
What did they eat? Grass?
Well, they mostly grass. They early on in the season, their mothers are still eating nuts, and if I happen to keep them for an extra year and winter them, they would be eating quite a few nuts as well, which are made with molasses and oats. They're fairly well fed, but it's quite an expensive process feeding them over the winter. So,
Oh, is it?
So we keep silage as well. We keep haylage. And one of my parks is dedicated for, just in front of Springfield there, is dedicated for haylage. I have a yow that hasn't got a purple mark, and she needs a nose. So my trusty shepherdess will come this way with the This is for gutworm, for liver fluke, for tapeworm. It's quite an overall antibacterial. That's the last dosage they'll get for the winter period.
What types of sheep do you have here? Are they all the same?
No, I have quite a mix. This lady here, she's got Texel. She's 3/4 Texel and she's a 1/4 Shetland. The 1/4 Shetland and all my breeding yows are to give them hardiness. I also have Cheviot cross. I have New Zealander Highlander cross. This animal, these two animals here, they're hardy beasts. In fact, they're so hardy that when they have a lamb in the field, you have to be mighty quick in catching the lamb. Otherwise, it's off like a gazelle.
If you haven't heard of a croft before, it's a small agricultural holding found mainly in the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. It usually comes with a modest house and a piece of land used for small-scale farming, grazing animals or growing crops. Crofting is often done alongside other work and is closely tied to local communities and traditional ways of life.
Yep, here's the 9 lambs going on their travels to markets. Some good lambs there. Just got them in this morning. Oh, their mums are out there. They don't seem to be too bothered at their way. They're probably glad to get rid of them by now. So I'm just about to start the journey with my pity trailer on the back of the quad, and we'll go up to the North Haven with them, where there's a boat coming in to pick them all up.
Behind me here is Stephen's holiday house, so if you'd like to come to Fair Isle, he rents out the cottage here, so you can contact Stephen via his email, which I'll put in the video description below. Stephen's family have lived on Fair Isle since the 1500s, and like many people on the island, Stephen does more than one job. Alongside crofting and running the holiday house, he's also a fisherman and a skipper on the island's ferry. Fair Isle is just 3 miles long, and Stephen's croft sits at the south end of the island. To reach the harbour, he needs to make the journey along the island's single-track road, heading north to where the boat will arrive to collect the sheep. It's not just Stephen's sheep leaving the island today. He estimates that around 200 sheep from crofts across Fair Isle will be travelling on today's boat. Stephen is the first to arrive at the harbour and started preparations for holding the sheep. After Stephen's lambs were unloaded, other crofters arrived at the harbour and began unloading their sheep.
This is them all going to market, so that they get picked up by a boat that's coming here. We would normally take themselves on the Good Shepherd, but we're kind of busy this week, so we've got another boat coming, and they'll be met at the other end by a lorry that will take them all to marketplace. It's an auction marketplace, but it's actually an international auction. It's digital, so people in foreign countries could easily be bidding for our stock, and Fair Isle stock does pretty well. We have this microclimate here, and we can, as you know, we have 4 seasons in one day, but in the summer times it can be absolutely gorgeous, and we get a good crop of grass, and they seem to fare well on it, because when our sheep go to the market they make very good prices. I have to send them off with a sheep movement document, and this is just for traceability, so that wherever my sheep go, they will always know where they came from. Should they end up on the table, it lets you know that they can scan it, and they can see lots and lots of information, such as drug intake, antibiotics, whatever it may be. I've seen shifts in fashion, shall we say, over the years. Textiles can do very well one year, and then Cheviets will do better the next. Now, these are crofts, as I've said before. They all have a quarter Shetland in them to give them their hardiness to be able to survive up here during the winter months. In the next couple of days, we can actually watch the auction online, and we can see it live happening there and then. It's quite exciting for us to sit and do so.
What happens if you send a sheep over and it doesn't sell at the market? What happens? Does it come back?
They all sell.
Oh, they all sell?
They all sell. They all sell. They just sell for varying degrees of market price.
Okay.
And we just hope that they'll get the best price.
And these will be used for meat, most likely?
Yes. Some of the ewes, lambs will be taken on and for further use down south, and possibly will go into the breeding market. But once they leave here, it's very much up to the marketplace as to what gets decided as to what's happening.
As soon as the boat docked, the islanders came together, setting up the walkway and starting the process of loading the sheep onto the boat. Your sheep on?
Yes, I can. They're up over there.
Over there.
They're all doing well.
All doing well, yeah. I think this here is the last load of sheep that are going on to the ferry here.
After a real team effort and what felt like no time at all, the sheep were loaded and the boat was ready to depart. As the boat disappears, the harbour is quickly cleaned and life carries on.
That's it for another year. Mixed emotions because, yeah, there's a little bit of sadness seeing your children going away. But, yeah, it has to be done. Onwards and upwards, as they say.
It's just another day on Fair Isle, shaped by hard work, responsibility and community.